and my voice should be coming through. My microphone should be working, and the background music should be working. And we have somebody down below me on the screen. Actually, let's go to the 2 up. No, let's stay right here for a moment. Let's stay right here, okay? I have a few news items to read. If I can get this.
I love the news.
If I can get this program
Are we
to
starting
open.
with sports, or are we starting with weather?
Oh, my application is crashing here. That's very strange.
Well, I'll just go on social media and pretend I'm paying attention.
Yeah.
I gotta invite my friends, Carl. I have so many friends.
Go and invite everybody. Let everybody know.
Let everyone know on every platform. I don't know how to do that on Twitter, but
in the meantime, I'm going to try to read some news. Okay, I found my news here. I wasn't able to open it on my computer. All right, That Monster Show news.
I'm listening.
We've made it to over 2,000 views on YouTube now in a week. That's not incredible, but it's nice because that means that 2,000 individual people that wanted to see it have gone to see it. And when have I ever done anything in the world where 2,000 people would go and do something to see me or to see you, to see
the
us?
Oracle of Outer Space was pretty.
Well,
got a lot of views.
Well, but I mean in person. If you think about it, 2,000 individual souls were lost during the watching of the show. That's a lot of people, because they went there with a good intent of seeing the show and watching it, and a lot of them left nice comments. We have over 90 very nice comments on the YouTube page, and they're meaningful comments. I like them.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to read the YouTube comments, but in account to speaking of. No pun intended, account. The numbers, you will, Carl, have to dismiss the amount of times that the YouTube account for the Mystic Museum and Dan Foster, I think that's my YouTube account that was logged in when I watched it just on repeat.
Yeah.
The music itself I found very soothing, so I listened to the show makes a great podcast. If anyone's not actually watched it, or those maybe possible viewers that are vision impaired or blind, it's the music, Carl, the voices, I hate to say it generically, the voices, but just if you close your eyes and listen to That Monster Show, it's great.
Hey, Muscat Grape is here, my favorite person.
Great.
Say hello to Muscat Grape, Dan Foster.
Hello, Muscat Grape. I must have not had enough bubbly this afternoon.
Okay, so continuing on with That Monster Show news.
Our count of YouTube and comments. What else, Carl?
We appreciate all of that, all of the views, all of the comments. So thank you to everyone who has watched and liked and commented. We really like that. To make more episodes, we are looking to sell this show to a network or streaming service like Netflix or Hulu or Shudder. We have some leads so far, but if you have ideas about that, if you know an agent or manager or producer or network executive that might be interested in working with us, then we could use all the help we can get. And that is the end of news item number 1.
Oh.
Hey, Rob. Rob is here. Hey, Rob.
Hey, Rob.
Towards the end of this broadcast, this is news item number 2 for That Monster Show. Towards the end of this broadcast, we're going to give away some shirts, some That Monster Show t-shirts, based on audience participation.
Yes. Long sleeve, Carl, or short sleeve?
Well, they can have their
I've
choice.
Always got a long sleeve on, but what?
They can have their choice if they want to do long sleeve or short sleeve.
It is the season to wear a nice long sleeve, cozy sweater.
Yeah.
Shirt.
So Dan and I, at the end of this broadcast, we're going to decide together who gets them. So be sure to join in on the chat and type some things at us.
Great.
And maybe you'll be the winner of a That Monster Show t-shirt. Chicago Superman, what's going on? Welcome.
Welcome, Chicago Superman.
Yeah, there's a Chicago Superman. Did you know that?
Of course there is. I haven't been yet, but I now know that
You've never been
when-
to Chicago? Or
I have
never
not.
been to Chicago Superman?
Neither, Carl. I have not
I'll
yet
have-
been invited to either. But
Okay.
I would gladly go to Chicago and hang out with my man. Yes, checks loud and clear. Never, ever do anyone of my
Check. Okay, I'm back.
colleagues.
Thank you, Chicago
Welcome back.
Superman, for hosting us on your channel. That's very cool. That means Chicago Superman is rebroadcasting us on their Twitch.
No way.
Yeah, very
I
nice.
have no idea how this Twitchy thing works, but I'm learning, and that's cool. So
Yeah,
on
we're making
Chicago-
progress. So, news item number 3.
No, thanks, buddy.
Welcome Dan Foster, voice actor. Dan voiced, I think, he claims to have voiced 7 characters. Oh, he's leaving us now. He's done.
Oh, that's me.
Oh,
I was sorry. I didn't-
he has voiced 7 characters in this show, that monster show. Is that correct, Dan? And if so, can you name all of them?
In order of appearance?
No.
Oh. Well, I would only be astute if we started with an order of appearance, Carl.
Okay.
Because, of
okay,
course,
okay.
the show does not begin without its host, Professor Sylvanus Huxley, esteemed occult historian, etc., and for your viewing pleasure, evening talk show host of Cleveland, Ohio, WOLC-TV, Channel 6, That Monster Show.
Radio ID. Very good. We have to get that in.
Yes. I don't know if we're broadcasting from Cleveland, but then I believe who is next on the screen is Dr. Roger Ralphenstein. He's very absent-minded, but he
He's
is, I believe, next.
the mad scientist. Oh, let's. You know what? I can bring these up on the screen while you name them.
No way.
There we go. There's Roger.
That technology available?
Yep. So
It
there's
exists? I don't-
Roger. It's up on the screen on Twitch. So if you look at the Twitch feed, you will see it there.
Oh, I gotta go on Twitch. There's so much
It's on the internet through a series
Wow.
of tubes. You can find it if you crawl through the various tubes.
I'm
How-
getting there.
Hey, everybody that's watching, how is the music volume versus our voices?
Oh my gosh,
It's always hard to tell.
this isn't fair. I went to Twitch and now they're showing me these very spicy and mighty hot sauce nugget things. Well, I can't very well eat those when I'm confined to this contraption. Now can I? This is very difficult. Okay. But I see. There we are. We're live. Oh, now I wish that my Halloween decorations that fell down and didn't stick to my...
Oh, we lost him. He's left the program again, everyone. Oh, he's back.
I'm back. It was just my back, Carl.
Okay,
In fact,
wait, what
it's
does
probably,
that mean?
It's probably a better view
I
than the...
don't
12
understand
o'clock.
what that means. What do you mean you're back? Well, now you're back now. Oh, I'm there. You are.
I'm here.
I didn't understand what happened there. Your face disappeared.
Oh,
Okay.
sorry that you missed it, Carl. But it's
Okay.
still...
Okay. We were naming characters. So Dr. Roger
naming
Rolfenstein, the mad scientist.
I believe he was second.
Yep.
You got me stumped. I haven't watched the show enough to
So we don't know who appears next. That was one of yours, huh? So let's flip through this.
I must say that the narcissism.
And there he is. Oh, it's the perfect music, too. And there he is. Pastor Egbert Orson.
Ah,
Hey, Enchanted Yeti. Welcome to the show. We're here with Dan Foster talking about that monster show and his voices. So that's the
Not just-
pastor right there.
yes it is. And when he speaks to God, he likes to make sure that he knows who's coming. It's me, Egbert. God, if you're listening. And I don't know if we've talked about this, and we can get to it when the time is right, but since you've been so kind, sir, to pull the characters up, I noticed how Egbert changed a bit from when I first saw him drawn.
Yes.
And it got a little scary for me because he got a little more real to me with the day that I had hair, and even the haircut. I
Oh, wow.
will have, yeah. So, and of all characters, it had to be him.
You did such a good voice for this guy, and it's one of my favorite moments that always makes me laugh when I watch the show. When you say, what do you say? Hi,
What do I
God. It's Egbert Orson. And he throws in there, like, it's Egbert Orson. Like, oh yeah, I forgot to say that I'm Egbert Orson. God. Hi, God.
Person.
It's me, Egbert Orson. It makes me laugh every time because it's like he thinks that maybe God doesn't know who's talking to him. He has to announce himself. It's great.
It's better. Yeah, it's better that, I mean, he's got a lot of people that are pinning for his advice and are there, and it's important to him that he knows specifically,
So we're on 3 characters so far, right? 3 out of the 7.
3.
Okay. So we got you doing Egbert Orson, and who comes up next?
I love the cue card guy.
There he is.
And then Mom.
Muskie Mike. Muskie Mike right there in the middle of the screen. He's the guy with the fiddler crab tattoo. Yep, that's also Dan Foster. Can you do a little bit of Muskie Mike?
Holy heck! I don't remember my line because I've been drinking.
What's going on with this weather?
What's going on with this weather? And then his sister. Oh my God. Lila, once again.
Oh yeah. Lila's over there, right? Are you talking about Nancy?
Nancy chimes in. Oh my God, that's one of my favorite scenes too, because Alligator
really
Earl.
Yeah, all of
Alligator Earl is I love when and Muskrat Grape. I'm not sure. Enchanted Yeti. I don't know what everybody does here, but as fans of the show, I hope at least it shows what a little character that comes in can do. That to me, like, steals the show, and I feel like just Cole knocked it out of the water with. I feel like he doesn't have to try hard, which I hope nobody should really have to. Yes, yeah. Chicago Superman, Alligator Earl is Cole, and he's phenomenal. I was gonna put another F word in there, but I'll keep it family friendly because I'm glad we did keep this show family friendly. As funny as it would be to hear it bleeped, but still family friendly. Family. Hi, I speak for a living. This is just a bottle of water.
So yeah, Cole did a really good job.
Cole knocked it out
thank
of the
you,
park.
Chicago Superman.
Thank you.
Chicago Superman also says, I like seeing how your expressions change depending on the characters you're voicing.
Is that what's happening? I don't have control. It's very important that you become lucid to create multiple characters. But yes, I hope that, thank you for pointing that out. It is important. I do like to point out tips to those that are studying in the field of acting and voice. It's not just a voice that creates these characters, and I'll only throw myself under the bus to speak for myself. The very first video that Carl put out of Professor Huxley, before we move on to my 5th character, is it, Carl, that I performed in this monster show, is the video of me as Professor Huxley, and I did this for some reason. As an old man, this felt very comfortable.
Yeah, you're also like doing some of that stuff.
Yes. Really speaking Italian, as they say, the physicating the characters, so long as you're not wearing corduroy or anything that makes loud noises, being physical is important. And also, when you're working in a confined space, often like this, it's why you don't wear pants and keep the camera above the waist.
Enchanted Yeti asks, have you ever visited Florida?
I have, actually. Yes, I have. Several times.
Where'd you go?
The first time was a school excursion, educational experience. We went to the Kennedy. I promise I'm here with you all. We went to the Kennedy Space Center.
Oh, yes.
First.
Very good.
And it was really awesome. We got to see, at the end of it, they were still doing launches. We got to see a launch.
Oh, I never saw one in all the years.
It was amazing. To say you saw it close up is, saw it close. I'll say that. Obviously, you know, we were kids, so they wouldn't let us get right underneath it.
You couldn't stand right underneath the rocket and get blasted by it?
Well, I should say that the rest of the kids, they stayed behind, but I'm, you know, not one to follow the crowd. So I unfortunately, well, let's just call it what it is, kids. You know, jet burn is real. Okay, that afterburn effect, it will just take your breath away.
Enna 1551 says, "Hey Dan, great job on the show."
Aw, I think I know Ina 1551. Thanks for being here.
Yeah,
I hope you
thank
restream this on your Twitch as well, in whatever part of the world you are. It's not Chicago. Chicago Superman's already claimed that portion of Twitch. And
I just want to point out here before we move on past Muskie Mike, I love his posture in this shot. How he's got his legs so far apart, like almost 180 degrees doing the splits, and then this huge pot belly hanging. It's great.
I'm glad we sent him those pictures. You know.
Oh, Chicago Superman is in Japan right now. How do I see a Whisper while I'm at, I think I would need to go in here. Let's see what we got. Recommended tip. Okay. Let's do that. Thank you, Chicago Superman. Is it hashtag?
We've got experts in this room on Twitch.
Is it hashtag giveaway? I put it there. Anyway, it's there. Okay. Thank you, Chicago Superman.
How is Japan? There's another place I have not been. Have you been to Japan, Carl?
Oh, no. I would like to go. So we're moving on past...
We'll take that monster show on the road.
Just call you Soups. Okay, Soups.
Soups.
Hey, Soups, did we meet you at... did I get to meet you at all, or see you, or did you see me at C2E2? Do you call yourself Chicago Superman because you were in Chicago? Or based out of Chicago?
Are you also a Chicago Superman cosplayer? Follow-up question.
That's what I kind of assumed.
Yeah, one would, but...
But anyway, we were at C2E2 promoting that monster show.
Really?
Was it this year? It was last year. It was last year around April or March.
It was not this year. Nothing happened.
Okay. Okay, here we're moving on to the next character that Dan Foster does, which is Sheriff Lanford Burns Jr. Oh, I had no idea. Soups, you live in San Diego. That's cool. Thank you. Thank you for the tip, too.
Yes, tips and Chicago Superman, Soups, is in Japan, but lives in San Diego. I gotta open the door. It's getting too hot in here. Max, bring me a nice cold Coke. Max is not my butler, but my dog. And that Coke is not going to come.
Oh, I just wondered, Soups, because of the Chicago thing. I wondered if you happened to come by the booth and see us, so I wasn't there. Life of the Arrow, you're in the Air Force. Okay, got it. Okay, Superman joins the Air Force. That makes some sense.
Thank you for your service.
And also doesn't?
Well, it explains, one, why he is in San Diego, why he lives in San Diego. My dad was in the Navy. So it explains why he's in San Diego. There's a base in San Diego, and he's in Japan. I know of other service members that are actually in Japan right now. I won't disclose their exact location because that may jeopardize their safety. I say that jokingly, but with sincerity at the same time. But thank you genuinely for your service, Soups.
What was I going to say? I wanted to jump in real quick and remind everyone, since it takes a little while for people to tune in, What we're doing here is we're talking with Dan Foster, the voice actor, who did 7 characters in that monster show. And we are going to be giving away some T-shirts to some of the viewers based on audience participation. So if you have questions for Dan, you can type things in there. And we'll at the end of this broadcast, Dan and I will decide who we're going to send the T-shirts to. And they are That Monster Show official T-shirts.
And if okay, fine. If I have to autograph them, I will. Did you see how he slipped out? That guy. Charge you extra.
Enchanted Yeti has a question. Maybe let's keep it just to this.
I've got it.
Let's keep it to this show. Out of all the characters you've done, which was your favorite?
Yeah, I think, and I'm sure. I don't know what's Enchanted Yeti. I'll just use your full name, unless you go by. If Yeti is okay. I think you meant this show specifically, because otherwise there's just way too many characters in my menagerie that I've done. Anyways, man, who is the favorite character of the 7 from that monster show? We haven't even gotten to all of them.
By the way, follow Dan on Instagram. What's his handle there?
It's
Instagram.
I am Dan Foster.
I am Dan Foster. Instagram.com/I am Dan Foster. I just typed it there for you. Because he puts clips of him. He does a very elaborate Grinch around Christmas time, which is unbelievable. The makeup that they put on him and the contact lenses. And he does this at Universal, right? Universal Studios?
That is correct. And I will say that before, so humbly, that I speak of this character, I am not yet the only one to blow some of the magic of the theme park world. But I'm not Jim Carrey, if you haven't noticed. For one, even though I'm sitting down, again, not wearing pants. Not again, as in like I make a habit of not wearing pants, but I mean, I've mentioned it already. There are several other fine, well-talented, extremely gentlemen that I share this role with during the season at the park, as well as to our Florida friends, the park I've been to as well, our sister park in Florida. There are several talented gentlemen playing this character that lives on thanks to Jim Carrey's creation of it. If you can't tell, he has become a part of me, and that's something a majority of us all have in common that come into that audition is we're all a little bit somewhat disturbed. There's something not quite right. Max! And hence I have a dog named Max. So that not 1 month out of the year can I yell for him, but now 12. And I must say, while we're on the topic of this character, I've now learned, being a dog father, that it's very inappropriate to give your dog onions. So for the Grinch to have this onion problem that he does, made very noticeable in the scene in which he rips an insane amount of raw onion and then proceeds to chew it, somewhat like Cookie Monster, where it doesn't exactly get in his mouth. But enough said, if you've ever eaten an apple, then just substitute it for an onion, and it's not pleasant. But I digress. Yes, thank you, Carl. He's a fan of mine. Unfortunately, he's not going to be around this year. Yeah, it does hurt. I'm not going to lie. Mostly the pocketbook, because, I would just shave everything on my face, and they would just glue another face on top. Then I'd become him.
I'm close to being able to bring up a photo here.
Sorry. Let's move on. A photo? Oh, my word.
I'm close.
So many questions.
Okay, so here's one photo. You know what?
We gotta get back.
Is your Instagram public?
It is public. Everything.
Okay, so let me just bring this up on the screen so people can see.
Go ahead, share it. That's the best way for everyone to see everything. I want to get back to, though, the question from Enchanted Yeti of my favorite character. We digressed, and I'm thankful because I have a hard time of picking favorites.
Okay, there's Dan on the screen having the Grinch face removed, right? Or is this before or after the Grinch face?
That's a jeez.
It must be before because you have.
Yes, no. This is the application. I'm uncomfortable. I had to decide from my facial expression, how uncomfortable I am. The level of comfort is here. There is glue all over my face. Those of you kids that ever had the joy of eating Elmer's glue as a kid, imagine that now spread on your face after you've popped a colored contact in your eye. That's not to help you see better, but yeah, and then cover yourself in green.
Let me try to grab a Grinch shot. It's I'm just got to scroll down here because I think I saw some down here.
While you're scrolling to Pat McGee and his talented crew that creates these wild characters. It makes me emotional as I'm watching myself and seeing this because I don't get to do this here. I'm gonna cry. I can't believe it. I'm so emotional. I'm actually crying, Carl, because I can't believe this guy that's here. I'm so full of emotions. I'm so happy seeing him. It's bringing me tears. It's so fun.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. So he's very good at this. There were a lot of video clips. I don't know how to find them exactly. Oh,
there's one of me coming out of the bathroom.
Strange one.
Yeah, no, that's just licking it's just inappropriate. No, there was a video up there coming out of my wardrobe. That's not me, by the way. This is
okay. You coming out of the wardrobe?
Hilarious on
TV.
On
this. Oh, a video.
Of a video of a bathroom. This is a great video, by the way. I take no credit for it. I just had to share it. That's my dressing room, though. This is a bit of Hollywood, everyone. Watch closely.
We're just
Celebrate with friends.
That's not. No, it's not.
Happy holidays.
That's disgusting.
Merry Christmas. I'll see you on set. Anyways.
Yes, back to the transformation. Pat McGee and his talented crew of artists, special effects makeup artists. It takes them. They have gotten it down. I've had the. I'm still getting verklempt. Stop it, Carl. I can't see this anymore. You
want me to take this away?
No, I'm going back to our Discord screen. I'll just look at you and your lovely.
Anyway, the point is that Dan does a lot of very interesting creative things, and there we go.
Makeup, please. Where is my Max? I'm not here just to talk about me. I'm gonna pitch as I must the people that help make these things come possible. Because like Lance and Cole and Joni, it takes a team of talent and creators of many kinds, and Carl as well. We wouldn't have that monster show. We wouldn't have these monsters and these characters. I wouldn't have had the honor of playing these 7. A myriad menagerie again of characters if it wasn't for you. You are also a character on the show, but we'll get to that as well. But
I am.
I don't want to not mention you and the other people. But Pat McGee's team of artists helped this transformation, and I've had the honor of doing it several years, and they've gone from over an hour now to under 60 minutes because the demand to get the characters out of the chair and to work, because you're not Grinching. You're not the Grinch if you're sitting in a makeup chair. You're not, Betty or Cindy or the mayor, I guess. Let's talk about something else. Sheriff Lanford Burns. And then we'll...
Yeah, do a little bit. You want to give us a little bit of Lanford Burns? Are you allowed to do that?
I think I'm allowed. Let me check with myself, Dan. Hold on. This is Lanford Burns, and I'm actually in a perfect opportunity to play Lanford now because I'm a little more nasal, and I believe at the time that Lanford came about...
He's also a little bit of a... It's kind of. I remember we were getting him to like exhale as he talked.
Yeah. And kudos to Carl again. I will say, because all these characters don't just come from me or any of us on a whim just because we see a picture. But Carl, we really found Lanford. I found Lanford thanks to your direction with what you gave. And I'll just briefly tell you about direction in the industry. Is there are people that can direct, and actors and actors directors we call them, and there's those that maybe are just too technical and they're not really sure what they want. But Carl knows what he wants because obviously he created these characters. So he could direct you so effortlessly that just guided you as an actor to like, there he was. I mean, from Carl's mind, it was fun to create these 7 in Lanford. Yeah, and to see him now doing in all our discussions of Lance again, showing him, completely not. Yep. And again, I don't remember what I did while we were doing Lanford, but I remember you telling me how he was distracted and something. I had never listened exactly to you in my own world, but I don't remember the conversation honestly that we had. But
I don't think we even had one. We never had one.
We didn't talk about him. He just said, "Do Lanford," and I was like, "This is him." And then it was like,
all right,
magic.
where's my money?
Yeah, where's my money? And then I got all this fancy equipment, and now I'm making like a living off of all this stuff in Los Angeles.
Odin's Martyr says hola. So welcome back, Odin. Enchanted Yeti asks, were the characters created before or after the script? Do you mean the cartoon characters on screen?
Great questions, by the way.
The drawings or the character designs? I think that's what is meant.
Yeah.
So the script. The script was first.
I mean, Carl, you showed the render your original concept drawings of these characters in our Twitch stream during the premiere, so that the characters were created by Carl early on.
Well, not by me. I mean, Lance and I worked together on the concepts. He drew them, and I gave him references and said, "Make it like this. Make it more like that." But
right? Yeah. It started off. You had a reference. You gave it to Lance. Then he drew it.
Yeah.
I don't think Lance didn't have much to go on. Sometimes in animating, you'll get the animators will ask for what's going on right now is not live, but just actual footage of the performer, of the actor, so that they may animate to it. I don't think we did that or much of that, but I mean, yeah, the characters were essentially, I think, created before the script, right?
No, the actual typed script in Final Draft was before any of the characters.
Oh wow! So you wrote it all first.
Well, I didn't write all of it. I wrote the pilot, a rough draft of the pilot,
before,
and worked on all that. And then I started, piecing together like references of like, this is what this character will look like. And then there's a back and forth where you write it all first, then you have the artist come in and do concept art, and then that informs the writing. And then I went back and I wrote 7 more episodes, and then we updated the characters again. And during the voice recording, a lot of these characters were still not even created.
Yeah.
And I did the aviation hobbyist bit was added by Lance. I told him I wanted the sheriff to be doing some sort of hobby, like painting something or building a model, like ships, I was thinking. And then Lance said, "Oh, we need to have him to be doing old warplanes." I was like, "Okay, great. That sounds good. Let's do it."
Hey, Chicago Superman, shout out to the Air Force. It looks like, now looking at the planes, I have not really paid attention yet before, but aside to the planes, I noticed his medals and all of his certificates behind him, and loved how Lance put those up there, very generically yet appropriate. But now seeing the planes, is it like a tip that, as often, I am former law enforcement, so I can say with very much certainty that it's possible we can assume that Lanford, came into law enforcement after an extended period of time or a short period of time in the Air Force. as a lot of law
it-
enforcement
It's
do.
not planned that way. I'm not quite sure, but he's actually part of a.
Well, this is Sheriff Lanford Bird speaking, and
It actually his. I'll give away this, but his father is Lanford Burns Sr., who is the governor of Florida at that time. In this world, in this this fictional world,
Gotcha.
and they are from a long line of Burns, who have early settlers of Florida.
Not Springfield.
Right. And
Maybe they're cousins.
so anyway, a lot of these characters are involved and they have backstories, but that's
It's
what I'll say
important.
there.
I love learning this, Carl, because I didn't, and what I did, nobody tells you to, but I'll say I got this bit at least from, again, giving credit, it's not my own mind, like Dan, some astute, like scholarly trained actor. My gosh, Stephen Tobolowsky, you know him from everything, but the notably is probably Ned, Needle Nose Ned from Groundhog's Day. But he taught me in an improv class that, not even trying to, he taught us that while he was on set, as on-camera actors do a lot, is they sit around in a trailer and they wait for their name to be called and go do their acting thing. So while he was in his trailer, he wrote a letter to his scene partner for the scene that was going on. It had no part of the scene, but he just was like, I have this time, and he's like, well, let me write this. And you have to. What I'm saying is, as the actor, nobody may tell you the backstory. So I assumed now, to some degree, now what if the next episode we record Lanford, that it doesn't matter to anyone hearing it, but to me, I know more about Lanford is that he has a military background before his time in law enforcement, and that will inform the character. So now, having learned that may or maybe not the case, but his father is the governor of Florida, again, I will say my experience in law enforcement, but I don't think we all need that to know. Let's see how he got this position of sheriff. Possibly quite easily and without going through all of the proper channels. But the sheriff is an appointed position. So you know, of course, your training and prior experience does come into play, but you are elected. You're an elected official. So, all it takes is a governor, maybe, possibly, in this world to say, Lanford, you are hereby dubbed the sheriff. I love it. Was what I'm saying.
It's also
Thank
a
you
small
for
town,
giving us...
so he may even be, one of the earliest sheriffs of this area. So who knows? Enchanted Yeti said, "Did you leave law enforcement to VO full time?" Did you answer that?
So many great questions, Enchanted Yeti. Who are you? Who is this Yeti? I indirectly did. I was acting without knowing it in so many different ways, and we're not here to talk about the past. But it's interesting that my experience was as a young child actor, and then I went into law enforcement. But while I was law enforcementing, there was things going on unbeknownst to me, that voices were coming out. I was doing voicemails at the police department that were inappropriate. Nobody wants to call police department's live scan unit. And here, for those of you that remember this, pick up your phone and, you want to go to the movies tonight, Carl? What do you want to see? Oh, let's call. Hello, and thank you for calling Movie Phone. This is the Department of Public Safety live scan unit. For one. It was annoying and outrageous, and at a time when the announcer voice was fun, Movie Phone boomed with that guy. I enjoyed it, and I captured the voice, and then I did it at our police department's fingerprinting unit, and people were calling, as I was told. I wasn't calling myself to hear my voice on it. People were calling, the live scan operator was telling me, people are calling and listening to the voicemail, leaving the message going, I can't remember why I called, but that recording is the best thing I've heard. I guess I need to get my fingerprints done. And so that was happening. So indirectly, I ended up leaving law enforcement for acting. And I'm so glad I did. Because I would never have been sitting here as Lanford Burns Jr., whose father is the governor of our small town.
Lanford Burns
here.
Sr.
Yes.
So what number are we on? 5 or 6? We don't know. See, it's you never know.
Soups?
There's
Chief
Egbert
Crew
Orson
Tactical,
again.
and a mechanic. Well, everybody needs a mechanic.
Oh, there we go. We got 2 guys in one shot, one scene. Dan doing both of them. But
I can't. Do we cover Roger? I can't wait. Oh yeah, the 2. Lance. Oh my God. These guys are hilarious.
these guys have their They have their own storyline that goes throughout the 8 episodes.
I gotta enlarge the screen. Sorry, chat. I'm not looking at myself, but just the detail. I mean, they are not on the screen. 4. We're at 4. Who said we're at 4?
We did 4?
Somebody. I can't see your. I don't know. I think somebody's count gave us the actual count. Sorry, did we figure out what number? I don't care what number we're on, but these 2 guys together.
We're gonna find out when we look at the credits.
I just love, again, characters that we are only in just the first episode, the pilot, and so we don't get to know all of these characters very well. But to meet them, much like I love about one of my favorite shows, Rick and Morty, of just so many different characters. I love ensemble characters. Like everybody wants to be like the lead, but how cool is it when you're like, again, 7 different characters, but look at how diverse they are, and these 2 together, like Lance and Carl. I mean, like, forget me for a second because you don't hear anything. Just look at this. I think it's amazing. These 2 characters, they're so different. And to have the honor to get to play the 2 of them, and they're side by side, and to say, "That's me talking to myself." Listen.
And nobody knows that when they watch it. It's like they would never know that it's the same guy talking to himself.
If you can do that, kids, if you can do that in now, I will say, Carl, I have some friends. And they know my voice. You know, they know that voice. I know that voice. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you can fool people, cool. That's awesome. You know, it is not the goal. If you're trying to fool people and just go, "Could you figure out who I was? Could you tell it was me?" That's not the game we're playing. This isn't a game, folks, for one. The game is to have fun and create these characters genuinely, and as Carl's alluding, these backstories fully. They have a life. These are people. Somebody asked during I'm going to get into on a soapbox, but somebody asked during the premiere, like, how do you keep them all separate? And I didn't have the most articulate answer at the time, but the thing is, Carl, I know your voice. I've worked with the blind. My friend Jolie doesn't need to like feel my face to go, "Oh, it's Dan." She just hears my voice and goes, "That's Dan." I know that these characters are different. Director Hellstrom, while I'm still playing with these characters and developing them, I can channel him and I can lock him in easily because he is Director Hellstrom. He's not, oh my golly, he is not Assistant Director AJ Rodman, okay? But names aside, they're 2 different people, and it's how you know, even though parents may go, "Dan, Brian, Judy, Dan, you're the one who's in trouble." They may go through the names because they can't remember. A well-trained professional actor should be able to find those characters quickly without issues and dial into them. And Carl will be able to say, I'm not quite sure that's him.
Yeah, sorry, we are having a little bit of a video and audio sync issue, and I think that is happening over Discord for some reason. Over time, I think Dan's video and audio is going slightly out of sync, but we don't really need to worry about it because it's fine. It's close enough. But yeah, thank you for letting us know. You okay there, Dan? Did you do something? You got stuck. Oh, there you are.
I'm on dial-up. Yeah, I try to. If anybody knows Discord or Twitch, I try to be technically not challenged, but even Roger has a hard time with technology and the beakers and the science and all of whatnot. If you can help me make this stream and everything better, probably not being so.
It's all actually in sync here on my end, and somehow
Okay.
through the broadcast it's going a little bit out. It's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Everything's fine.
Yeah, everything's good here
Technology,
on
folks.
your
It's
on
great.
your
It's
stream that's
amazing
coming
for you
in.
to be able to do all this. Blows my mind.
So anyway, good job on those two characters, these two military guys who are part of Project Harmonica, and they have they have their own plans. What else have we got
We don't
here?
know what that project is yet, do we?
Okay, so I brought up,
Who's next?
here are all the voices that you did. Professor Sylvanus Huxley, Dr. Roger Rolfenstein, Pastor Egbert Orson, Sheriff Lanford Burns Jr., Muskie Mike, Director Hellstrom, and Assistant Director A.J. Rodman. That's 7.
Those were them.
So Soups, we might have lost one there. So that's 7 right
Okay,
there.
you're still in the running for the shirt.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Yeah,
Not
you're
even
all right.
taking notes. And my memory. What were you talking about? Look.
By the way, just a reminder, we are talking with Dan Foster, voice actor for That Monster Show, a show that we created. You can watch it on YouTube. I don't know why Nightbot is not working at the moment.
Slacking
Let me
Nightbot.
do
Well,
this.
maybe
TMS,
because
boom,
they're
you can
Nightbot.
watch it on. Okay, so there's how you can watch it on YouTube or
maybe we need to have
thatmonstershow.com. We're going to be giving away some Monster Show T-shirts, and I should have grabbed one.
I was gonna say, Carl.
I
Can we
should
show one?
I should have shown one. Do you have one handy or no?
Well, let me unbutton. I wish I was wearing one underneath, but I have to say I
bring
think
this up
mine's
on
in the
the
wash,
screen.
and I
here.
haven't gotten a sweater or
This
a
is
long
easy.
sleeve yet.
We've
so
got the
those
merch
are
here. We've got these T-shirts.
something I won't have.
It's got a pretty cool design on the front.
The design is bitchin', if I must say.
It's
I had it as
beachin'.
wallpaper before I changed. Oh, I can't show you my wallpaper because there's people things. Till I changed my wallpaper to that
Oh, the main poster.
poster. But I did have the T-shirt. Carl, I don't have to.
Anyway, so we're going to be giving away some of these T-shirts based on audience participation. So if you can
There's
type,
I feel like there's more questions I have failed yet to answer.
there
Because
probably are.
kind people have asked, and I just.
So we haven't even gotten to the actual interview questions. I wonder if you could tell the story of when we met. Because I think it's kind of personally funny.
And I love telling the story because as I was telling, excuse me, Professor has to cough, clear his throat. A student, before I had the opportunity to be here, thank you all once again. But there isn't a path like law enforcement. Hey, the Air Force, military. You don't go to acting, academy. Sure, there's Stanislavski and there's people that studied under Sandy Meisner, who you can have the honor of studying with today. But there isn't a school and something you take that certifies you and then says, congratulations, you're now a voice actor. Go forth into the world and make lots of money and the children in the world happy. It doesn't happen that way. So Carl and I met in a very, if I may start at the beginning, Carl, because I think that's important.
Go ahead.
At least for me.
I think it's kind of a funny. It's a charming little story. I think.
So cute. Besides just being an actor and doing voices and stuff, which I know is very ironic for my screen name and things across the board, I've kept to the discredit or pleasure of, I should say, of Mick Winger, who said stop that stuff. But Dan does do voices, but they're more than just voices. But more than just voices that I do, I have the honor of also working at the Mystic Museum in Burbank, California. And it's a fun, quirky little shop that has the different day every day. Nothing's the same.
It's
not
got to be
your
the
typical-
coolest horror type store in the world, right? In my
It's-
that I've
it's-
ever seen.
I'm very proud to work there. I must say, I've had the honor of working there for I don't even know, over 5 years, and how I even got there is a interesting story in itself for a later time. But Carl happened to be, I believe, bringing some posters, going through leafleting, which is, man, a very tedious and I'll say old school for 2020 for maybe the youngsters in the room, a way of doing things. But boy, did it work. I'm so glad he walked in because I wasn't working. But much to the credit of my boss at the Mystic Museum and I think a coworker who was there at the time,
Yep.
They piped up and were like, and I got a text, "Hey Dan, this
They
guy
were
just
like,
walked in."
you need to talk to Dan Foster. Well, that's what
As
they
I'm
told
like
me.
coughing and dying over here right now, but water, folks, it's important to stay hydrated.
So yeah, I dropped
Yeah,
off
it
some
was-
flyers and gave them to the girl at the desk, the front
As one
counter.
does. Mhm.
And
The rest was history.
she was immediately like, "You need to talk to Dan. You need Dan Foster." I was like, "Okay, well, yeah, I'm interested. Let me know who he is." Or I typed down your name. Okay, I'll look him up. But
Yeah.
what was the first time that we actually met up? How did that go?
Our very interesting Tinder date.
Yeah, because
think that's
I
the
wanted
new
to
dating
meet
app
Dan in
for me.
person.
Grindr.
I wanted to meet
Okay.
him. I wanted to meet you in person because I
That's
saw your
important, yeah.
Instagram and you were so out of your mind on Instagram and so full of energy. I was like, I don't know if I can handle that much energy because I'm an
that
extreme introvert. What? Are you still there, Dan?
I believe I am.
Okay, good. So I was intimidated by the
Just wasn't
energy
talking
level.
for a second. I know.
And I didn't realize that I think you're actually an introvert too, even though you're so high energy in your performances.
Yeah, thank you for pointing that out, Carl. I think it's important that we do all speak candidly. And yeah, personally, this quarantine hasn't been bad in that respect that sometimes you don't get to go outside and have to integrate with the world. Not that I don't love socializing, and especially a personal in-person as we did, Carl, need to do and meet face-to-face versus social media, because that's not me. I'll tell you, all of us have a persona that is social media, and it's been very important maybe this year that people use it as a particular platform, and that's very important, whatever topic it is, whether it's business or it is a political topic or of lives. I don't want to go into that, but it is all necessary for a particular reason. But sometimes it's better to shut yourself off from all of it and, have some introspective time. And I think it's fair to say that a lot of creative types across the board, I'm not just speaking about those like one of my favorites. I'm getting verklempt again because I think about him a lot. Dan will be back in a minute. Robin Williams. He's another character actor that has influenced me so much that he gets me teary-eyed right now in my box of emotions. And this is another reason I love voiceover, because I don't have to be on camera, which Carl did not tell me exactly was going to be. So I had to put on this. I had to put on clothes, quite honestly. I had to put on clothes. I'm not wearing pants. Once again, but Robin Williams really influenced me, and he's such a malleable person. But what a lot of us don't realize is that he suffered from a lot of, demons inside that, we didn't see. And I think that I didn't know him personally, but I think it's fair to say that it's easy to make other people happy, Morty, by being outgoing. And I love to make people laugh. And when we do that, we don't have to think about 2020.
Our own problems.
Or our own problems,
Yeah.
for that matter.
Yeah. And so
I've shown my cards.
and I feel like saying that you're an introvert somehow is still a stigma.
A stigma of
In
negativity.
some weird way, which is not
Yeah.
at all. I mean, it shouldn't be. But I discovered after meeting you, I was like, I think Dan is actually kind of an introvert. But anyway, not to bog down the story too much. What I wanted to say is that I wanted to get together with Dan and
In person, face to face.
just sit down and have a snack. Or a coffee or something like that. Let's just sit down and have a snack.
Or a taco.
Or something like that. Yeah, so we were like,
taco.
okay, and I said, so, okay, what's around here? Where can we go? And I think we tried
Magnolia Burger.
3 or 4 places. Like
Yeah.
we drove to one place and they were closing.
Magnolia.
And we
within
drove
blocks.
and they were like, try that other place down there. Okay, so we got back in the car, drove to another place. And they were like, it was like, they don't have anything I can eat because I'm a weirdo vegan. And it was like all meat. It was like a meat shop or something. Like, okay.
And I did not know.
Yeah, so this is not going to work. So we ended up, I was just like, look, is there just a Taco Bell around here somewhere? So we drove to this tiny Taco Bell and sat in this little thing. And I ate in front of Dan as we tried to communicate. And it was very uncomfortable and strange. And I thought, I'm making this guy so uncomfortable eating a bunch of Taco Bell in front of him because he wasn't eating. And I'm like...
And I'm thinking, I'm making this guy so uncomfortable because I'm watching him eat during the first time we meet. No, sir. No.
And you're like,
I don't want any tacos. I'll just watch you.
So I felt it's now become called the Taco Bell test. Of when I want to work with someone, I first have to go to an uncomfortable Taco Bell with them and see how it goes. And so we ended up. I was like trying to tell him some parts of the story and about the characters, and then I drove him back to where he was parked, and he was about to get out of the car, and I said something about saying a voice. And you were kind of reluctant to even do a voice or something. For whatever reason, it was just an odd situation. And you did a voice suddenly. You did the professor. And I was just like, whoa, hello. It was in the last 10 seconds you were in my car. You finally did the professor voice. And I was like, that's it. We got it. We're good. We're ready. Let's do it.
The best date ever, Carl. You know, some people will judge, say he took me to Taco Bell. And what did you have? Oh, I didn't even eat. Yeah, you believe that? I just watched. And then he made me get in his car again. And 2 voices.
I mean, all you did was just say like a sentence or something as a professor.
Yeah.
And I was just like, that's it. We got it. We're good. Thank you.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to working with you. It was like, that was the audition.
And I'll say, because I don't think I've ever told you, Carl, like it was, look, I'm trying to be as professional as I can, but we're on Twitch here, people. All right. I'm a person too, damn it. And I've got emotions, if you haven't noticed, a lot of them that like to be expressed in this padded box of emotions, which I close myself into occasionally. But that experience was both somewhat uncomfortable, fair to say, for both of us, both parties, again, because we're human, but like the best date ever, business date, like awkward as hell as far as, we're holding empanadas, we're closed, go here, go there, not vegan, don't have what I like, really, Taco Bell? Okay. Not that I don't like Taco Bell. I think I had already had lunch. So I was like, I should have just fucking ate a taco, or had a Coke or something, a beverage, and, sat there at least to enjoy it. But then by the time it was like, dance, monkey, dance, as my friend likes to say, do a voice. And that was it. I didn't eat anything because I have this weird phobia before I perform, to where I don't want to be full of tacos, Hey, go to work after eating a bunch of tacos. See how that goes for you. Whatever you do, soups, eat a bunch of tacos, go do your mechanic work, for the Air Force. I mean, you'll be very comfortable, but for me personally, I mean, sure, I love tacos, but I want to eat them like as a reward. Like, did it, now eat my tacos. I'm done with my work. I can enjoy the tacos, not
I get my reward. This is excuse me. Take one. I had tacos for lunch. I'm sorry. I might get carne asada on your nice 416. Yeah. Hope you don't mind. It was spicy too, so if I pass gas, could be the. I digress. Again.
And so that was the audition, and you got it was like
I nailed
immediate, like that's it.
Don't eat tacos before your audition, and you can end up playing a myriad of characters.
And so we got Dan and Joni and Cole and I were doing a booth at LA Comic Con, and we got Dan to come down. And there are other stories involved with this, but it was
so I had to go.
It was a lot of fun to have Dan at the booth, and he dressed up as some different characters and things, did some sort of cosplaying, because it was around Halloween time, I think.
That's right. It was. Oh, you're gonna make me cry again because the reminders come up, and yes, I'd been to LA Comic Con the year before, thanks to the Mystic Museum, to help Eric in the shop, but it was a different capacity. Now I got to be there for how I've always wanted to be, and we had such a blast. We made friends and sold shirts and took pictures, and that was the first. I think you had the shirt, so I was just jazzed to have a shirt. And then me and Cole, I think we all put one on and took a picture with the poster, and we had some of what we had already playing, the preview trailer playing on a TV that it attracted kids. It was fun we got a first glance of like, how is this going to be received by the audience? And I feel so bad because if he's here, Joke Pool, he's our friend from Comic-Con, or from LA Comic-Con. That's the same thing, right? I haven't been to one. Don't get to go anywhere. But he became a friend of ours. He's even come to the park, again, back to the Grinch, him and his wife. I have pictures with him in the Grinch. And I'm so horrible with names. I'm good with faces. And I see Carl's beautiful beard and glasses. I remember that's Carl. But I apologize. I just can only remember him as Joke Pool. And I have yet to say that on Instagram through our DM conversation. Hey, buddy. So if you're here, please illuminate me, because I am an asshole.
Reminder, we are here with Dan Foster, voice actor of That Monster Show.
Dan Foster.
And we are asking him questions, and we're going to give away some shirts at the end of this broadcast. We're probably going to maybe go like another 15 minutes or something. Is that okay?
Carl, you have been so generous to compensate me in tacos. So I am pleased to be here, as long as everybody else wants to be here. Tiff is here. By the way, our conversation from last night, tough skin, girl. Tiff, you're fine. You're good. I love you, girl. Okay, that's nothing.
Oh, so let's
by the way, I hope is less creepy. Although I don't know what this stuff is.
Let's real quick. Let's solve this for Soups, because he's still having some problems here. So here are the numbers. Whoa! Chicago Superman was just gifted a Tier 1 subscription. Very good, by Odin. So Odin, thank you for doing that. Very cool. Very good of you. Real quick, I want to run through the character numbers because Soups missed this, I think. There was a little mistake. Here we go. Professor Sylvanus Huxley is 1. And I've got these on the screen right now. Professor Sylvanus Huxley is 1. Dr. Roger Rolfenstein is 2. Pastor Edgar Orson is 3. All right, so there's the 3. 4 is Sheriff Lanford Burns Jr.
This is Lanford Burns speaking.
5 is Muskie Mike.
Holy heck!
6 is Director Hellstrom. And 7...
Project Harmonica.
And 7 is Assistant Director A.J. Rodman. They're all right there on the screen.
Florida!
Unfortunately, 2 of them are on the same line, so that's why it might be hard to see them. But that's the full list. Yeah, we went... we talked about Muskie Mike. He's... where is he? He's this dude right here.
He is gorgeous. Again, it doesn't hurt to remind our friends what type of crab that is that he has.
A fiddler crab.
Fiddler.
All right. So there we are. We've solved the mystery
We've solved it.
Do you want to do kind of a lightning round of questions that I have here? Yeah?
That's me saying, let's just fire away.
Let's fire away. Okay. Favorite cartoon as a kid?
Favorite, sorry, I was reading Tiff's apology.
Oh, that's all right.
Favorite, it bought me some time. What was the question again?
Favorite cartoon as a kid?
Again, favorite, so hard.
Or a favorite. A favorite.
What? A favorite. Okay.
Sure, why not? A favorite.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? Dude, I collected I had so many.
Good
and I loved
answer.
all 4 of them. Like, I can't even pick a favorite. Like, I think I loved Donatello, but then Michelangelo was cool. And they're so different.
Okay.
Person like me can't keep track.
Part
Next
2 of
question.
that question is favorite cartoon as an adult? Or a favorite?
Right. It's a part of my body now. Adult Swim's Rick and Morty is, adult favorite.
When did you decide you wanted to get into voice acting? Was there a clear moment where that happened? Like, I'm going to do this.
A crystal clear. Folks, if you haven't watched and you're curious about this business, John DiMaggio produced I Know That Voice. It happened to be on Netflix, and I happened to be unemployed and sitting on a couch. And literally a light bulb went off. I can show you the binder or the Spider-Man notebook that I still have that I quickly grabbed to take notes. So yeah, there was a moment.
And what was it called? I Know That Voice?
I Know That Voice.
I Know
You can
That
also
Voice.
buy it. It's on Amazon.
On
It's worth
Netflix or Amazon?
buying.
Okay.
I don't think it's on Netflix anymore. This was 2015.
We'll have to check this
So-
out.
I hope it's still on there. It should be. It's a great documentary. It's got everybody in animation that's still working today. They've been working. They're a part of your childhood. You've heard them growing up. Rob Paulson, Fred Tatasciore, D. Bradley Baker. I've had the honor of taking classes with I haven't taken one yet directly with D, but I did Invader Zim. You know him. Richard Horvitz.
Wait, what about Invader Zim?
Richard Horvitz. He is Invader Zim.
Oh.
Along with Ricky Sims. I have not met him, but they are the Zim to the Invader. I honestly did not watch his show, but I knew of him from Nickelodeon in Angry Beavers. I didn't obviously know that show, but I knew of him in his Nickelodeon. I grew up on Nickelodeon, if that was a question. I've gotten it already. I was a Nickelodeon kid, so I knew him in Nickelodeon from stuff in general as a kid. And he's a favorite.
How long between wanting to voice act before you got your first gig doing it? And it doesn't need to be a high-paying gig, but as someone was like, we're going to have you voice act.
Well, in theory, I mean, what I was doing while I was in law enforcement, IVR, the voice messages, and I did some VO for training videos. I had already been booked and was paid for VO work well before I even knew I wanted to get into voiceover. But the very first paid job is basically the question after.
I mean, from when you decided, when you saw that Netflix thing,
Yeah.
when did you get to do a voice for something? And it doesn't need to be paid.
Yeah. Oh, well, I'll tell you, the very first thing that I did when I started taking classes and learning how this aspect of acting works, because, sorry, if you're an actor, that's a head start, but VO is its own beast, as is performance capture, I believe is what we're calling it today, is different. Not to say you cannot learn it, because all of you can one day become, as I am, a professional hand model. You too can do this and this. What did I do? This and this. I don't remember. As a professor. What was I saying? I love what you, Carl. I'm so happy to be here, kids. What were we saying? The choo-choo just jumped off its track.
When did you get to do an artistic thing, creative thing for a voice? After you decided?
I want to give the stepping stones because it's important. Because again, there's no class, so those that are interested, I want to help students out. I want to help people out with this. My class led me to volunteering for the blind at Los Angeles Radio Reading Service. And so there weren't any characters. There wasn't any paid work. This was volunteer. But a instructor of mine said, you know, you want to learn how to do this? You're not going to get paid right off the bat. Just,
I am a voice actor.
good luck. A majority of us, okay? Volunteer, do some work, get used to reading out loud and having this thing in your face. Because not everybody comes from a radio broadcast background and has worked in studios all that time before. So this is a unique environment. You need to adjust to this and be comfortable here and feel that you can create all of the fun characters you need to do. Or just read, just do audiobooks, you know? So reading for the blind was really my first, I guess you'd say, gig. Non-paid, loved it. I miss Jolie, and she's since retired. Finally, thank goodness for her. But it is a great opportunity. Anybody interested, by the way, I will plug radio reading services. You can find them probably in Chicago or San Diego, anywhere there's an organization. They're 501c3, so they're not maybe always the strongest. But it is a great way to help your community, whether you want to do VO or not. Just go help the blind and vision impaired. We read the LA Times. We got to read whatever we want half the time. It was a blast. I made a network of friends there, met other artists that were there to, you know, help out while they were also either on camera or VO. I miss it. And I'm going to cry again if I talk anymore. So moving on.
I've seen you do a little bit of something that I think is called voice replacement. Is that right?
ADR or dubbing? Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What does that? What does that mean? How do you do that?
As well, most commonly we know of with a lot of films, the voices don't always match up with the lips. That's dubbing. Or what happens is there's I learned this on the very fortunate time I got to go to Fox and see the studio where they record The Simpsons. And at the same time, New Girl was still in production, and an actress had to come in and do some ADR because the time that they shot the scene, the audio got goofed, or I don't know the specifics, but a lot of times that happens. Either they go, we're just going to pick this up, or there's something actually that does happen with the audio, so they need to pick it up. You can always, usually a trained ear is able to tell, or you see that if the actor's back is to you, you're probably getting some ADR, because we can play with that. If you don't see their lips, they could be saying anything, right? And it sounds different. We usually get this studio sound that comes from that audio. I always love it because I'm like, yep, that was in a booth. That was in the studio. The actor had to adjust. It's never the same performance, which is why you have to appreciate dubs for the story. And it's either good or it's bad. And oftentimes it's hard for us as Americans to say it was good because it's a foreign film, and foreigners don't think like us. Their Hollywood is different. The productions I've worked on, it is Spanish. They have a different understanding of comedy, or, the languages, so that when I have to say it also to match up with the lip flaps, we end up going, the line was written, Carl, I would like a cup of coffee, please. But in Spanish, and my Spanish is not that great, being only 20%, unfortunately. I didn't get a lot in high school, más o menos. We go in the studio, and I try that. Carl, I would like some coffee, please. No matter how the speed is, if it was natural, I drew it out and made it dramatic. But we may notice that it doesn't match up in sync. So now it's just, Carl, may I have the coffee?
Yeah, and there's
It's
some weird
changed.
things where if you do that and you don't take a breath at the same time, you might not hear it in the original audio. You're trying to match, or just a mouth movement or something.
Yep.
there are all these signs that show that it wasn't really recorded there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you've done some of that, so that's cool.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a whole different beast. Again, it's different from animation. It's different from games. Oftentimes with dubbing and ADR, it is just they want a voice. You have a voice that sounds like the leading male. I do not. I have a voice that sounds like a kind of stout priest, or a kind of, well, much like me, Spanish and a little cocky dandy, likes to dress nice. Very interesting how I got cast in that character, but yeah, they just usually want your voice. It's not anything put on. It's just to match the actor on screen that you get to.
Can you think of a really weird audition or character or circumstance that you had to do, like, or a staged or like a recording direction? Any things that pop into your mind like that? A memory of like, oh, this is a bizarre situation that you had to go tell your voice actor friends about. Like, look at this. Can you believe this? Something like that.
Yeah. This guy made me get in his car and go to Taco Bell, and I didn't even know him. No, I had to bring it back to Taco Bell.
Yeah.
I will say it's not the weirdest, but I want to tip the cap to you, sir, on your direction, because I kind of said it before, but and it may sound mean as opposed to telling a fun story of the weirdest. I can get to that, but as far as you said direction, and I think it's important because I often refer to it, and I don't mean this in a derogatory, I shouldn't have to preface this, but it's 2020, a monkey in a booth. I've referred to myself, and I've played a monkey, and I was in a booth. So I'm the monkey in the booth that dances. You just give me treats or tacos a treat, and tell me what to do. I don't know everything. I'm just a dumb actor, okay? Carl, the director, gives you the help. The booth director gives you the help, the crumbs, that make or break a performance. I don't know what's going on in the show. The very dramatic actors will tell you, not to name them, but one of the gentlemen, actually not a character, but sorry, Carl, stop me, but Professor Huxley was based on a gentleman who was very argumentative in a read about peas, if I'm not mistaken.
What is that about?
There are peas. The sentence "peas in July," that's not correct. There would never be peas in July. Who is your inspiration for Professor Huxley?
I don't remember any of that.
Okay. There's a gentleman. Who's the gentleman that you told me helped inspire the professor?
Man, I have no idea. I'm trying to think of it. I'm trying to remember.
I'm asking you because I've also forgotten his name, but
yeah.
That's just me with names. Once again, how horrible I am with them. He is an icon. He brought us I can't. The name of his.
Are we talking about like Alfred Hitchcock or something?
It's not Alfred. My word.
Anyway.
Yes. This older gentleman. I'm gonna throw out stuff. It's only gonna make it worse. I'm not even gonna go. Someone will help us chime in on the chat that I'm sorry not looking at. But the direction is so important. And in a project that I am so glad I and honored, as I always am, everything, even if it's really weird or direction is not clear, is where this train is going. A director in a recent project that I worked on, it's so vivid, that helps me with my memory, that I was so confused. It happens easily, but this director, who was, for one, I will say, welcome to voiceover. Sometimes when you look through that glass on the other side, mine happens to be right over here. My dog is sleeping. Max is sleeping next to me. That's a better view. But oftentimes you look out in the other side of the glass and you're like,
Are
How'd I
you
do?
Are you thinking of Rod Serling?
Not Rod. Older, much older, portly, beard. You know.
Oh, Orson Welles.
Orson Welles. There is a fantastic bit out there. It's not even a bit, but I'll call it a bit because we've turned it into a bit. Pinky and the Brain did it as a bit, where Maurice LaMarche played Orson Welles hilariously as a kid. You know that episode. Orson was horrible to work with, notably, as I was told. And the Peas commercial will attest to that. You just listen to the way he treats that booth director and like, okay, so it wasn't written well, Orson. Be nice to the guy, okay? He's a guy doing his job, man.
Thank you for the follow, Tepich Fulton Ramler. Tepich Fulton Ramler. Thank you. Thank you very much for following.
To what cost?
Anyway, sorry to interrupt there, Dan Foster. We're here with Dan Foster. We're only going to be talking a couple more minutes, and we're going to give away some T-shirts.
Yes, that's the best part.
Could I share something about giving direction?
Please do, Carl. Enlighten me as well.
You have to be very careful about what nouns you say when you are giving a voice actor direction. Because if you say, this is... Oh, check. Doan or a son for a Hawara. That's a... Wow. I'm sorry.
I look at it.
I'm sorry. I'm not making fun of the name, but some of these are very long names. So thank you for the follow. What I wanted to say is, if I remember, I think I said to Dan, or maybe someone else at some point on another project, I think I said, this is like a Rod Serling type character. What I mean is, it's the role of Rod Serling, that he is the host. But when you say that, the voice actor immediately goes, what does Rod Serling sound like? I'm going to talk like Rod Serling. So when you say anything, you have to be really careful about what you say. And once you get it in their head, it's hard to like, okay, now we need to remove all of that and go the opposite direction. So
Yes.
It's tricky. It's very tricky.
Nouns. And I'll piggyback off of that, Carl, because now that I cracked the booth, I think there's some oxygen going to the brain. What happens is, and I see this because why I'm giggling inside is because what happens in my world and in Carl's world, if you were to send this audition out, is he gets all of these Rod Serlings, and I'm not going to do it, but I'm not going to attempt, I'll say, but he gets all of these different rods, and then he goes,
Not a sound alike rod,
but it's how, again, look, I would go back and look at how does Rod talk, or what are the inflections of his voice. But I will say sometimes, I think, Carl, correct me if I'm wrong, I kind of feel like you throw it out there, and as an actor, you get to play with it, and you go, yeah, that didn't feel right at all. Like, why did I make him Rod Serling? And then you go, yeah, because I didn't want Rod Serling. I wanted this essence of him. Gotcha. And then we kind of like, again, back to building this character. We go, that's where, there you are, Peter.
I think that you're often like, between you and I, when we're sitting there doing this, we're sort of triangulating what this thing is going to be. Like, we're kind of like, we start over. Like, and a lot of times I just like to let you throw something out. Like, throw out your first instinct. What is it? And then we'll say, okay, now we know what that sounds like. Let's try the opposite of that. And like, okay, that's an interesting reference too. Now let's try a third thing, like in between the two, and see if that's... And then at some point you'll like joke and do some other voice, and I'm like, that's the one. So
that oddball.
Like 90-degree thing. Like, why did you think to do that? But that was it. Sometimes that'll be like, there it is. Now more of that. Okay, now we found it.
Thank you for reminding me of that too, because before I go this afternoon and get to some auditions, it's important to remember that, again, students taking notes, the fact that the creating process, a lot of times we think it's Rod Serling, but what ends up booking is not what noun you were given that
Yeah.
you ran with because you thought they wanted Rod Serling, but you go with a gut instinct, which in our case was different because we together, triangulated each character as you did, I'm sure, with everybody else. And that's such the amazing process. You don't always get that togetherness. I'm alone in my box and I go Rod Serling and I do Rod and then I don't book it. But when you go, no, that's a red herring, folks. That's a red herring. It's not Rod. It's not Rod. It's anything but Rod. But maybe there's a bit of Rod in it. But what's gonna book is gonna be, way out of left field because what did they do? They sat there and they heard Rod, nope, Rod, nope. They're waiting for that something different. As I know, Carl, that's why you're nodding your head, because with Draculana, I think I didn't obviously get to play her, but to find her, and I tried to help, my colleagues out in the field of, can you do her? And I can't tell you if you can or not, because the only one that knows is really Carl and Draculana. And when he finds her, that's when the magic will happen. And it's not to ever say, again, students, that Rod Serling was bad, unless it was a very bad Rod Serling.
I think sometimes the director is actually wrong in what they think they're looking for.
You don't always know, right?
Yeah, even though they'll tell you what they think they want, they realize once they hear it, oh, that isn't what I want.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of what happened with the Draculana and Julia Axe situation, where I thought I wanted an older female actor. That's what I was going for. Like, I want an old, crude, mean old lady kind of thing. And then I heard Julia's voice, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is not what I was looking for, but this is it. And I hope that someone else can beat it. We'll see if someone else can find the voice. But as far as I know, that's the one. But I listened to, 60 auditions or something. And I just kept coming back to Julia. I was like, oh my gosh, this is the one. And I didn't think this was going to be it. And then I had her over to audition, and we went in the room, and I just threw things at. I gave her a stack of books, like Scientology books. I gave her the script of Good Will Hunting. I gave her random things. I was like, okay, grab a book and start reading from it, and let's just experiment, just improvise, because I knew that she was great at improv and writing. She's a writer, and she is a director, so she does all of this stuff. So I was like, I want those skills. Too? Yeah, she's an opera singer. She sang. She sang the theme to John Wick 3. She's on that soundtrack. That's her voice.
I believe it. Not like you're a liar, but
yeah. So I just threw stuff. And I wanted her to bring all of that skill to the show, and she did. So it was just like, all right, that's amazing. And I asked her how about some cussing, and she would just let out the most profane, screaming, vulgar body parts, like, oh my god. And I was like, all right,
that's all recorded, right, Carl?
Yeah,
we have that, right? We have that tape.
Yeah. So I was just like, man,
we've got you to it.
So she's, okay, you got it. That's it.
She is what I hate. I will use the H word very strongly here. I hate to say she has a great voice. I think I may be paraphrasing you, Carl, but she has an amazing voice, people. I mean, she as a singer, just when you hear Julia, and I don't know her, I only got to know her thanks to Carl and that monster show, but she does have an amazing voice. It's not always, and I say this, I hate that because people often say, you have an amazing voice. Have you thought of doing voiceover?
The other thing,
irks me.
Here's the interesting experience that she has in singing opera since she was a kid. She's an opera singer, like she's a professional opera singer. She can sing in multiple languages, so she's worked with dialect coaches who taught her how to sing in German, how to sing in... So she was like zeroing in on the Draculana accent and all those consonants and everything, and it was like, okay. She started naming some area in Europe, and it's like this. Okay, that it sounds like it to me.
you've got a very specific regionality.
Yeah.
Look, I'll piggyback on that briefly. I think we're over our t-shirt time, but
Yeah.
I will say that, I mean, the more specific you are. I was speaking to a friend the other day about an idea, writing a screenplay, and it was new, and I said, "Where is this in the South?" I don't know. You live in South Carolina. You can't tell me you don't know where in the South. As the actor, it helps me to know it's not just the South. She knew a specific place. Now, do we know that? You're like, I don't care. Great, cool. Sounds great. But it does help inform the read. She knows exactly where Draculana may be from. As I would hope she does, because she's Draculana.
Yeah.
Kudos to Julia.
Yeah, she's great.
The cast is just... I'm so excited to be a part of it because of these people that you brought together, Carl. And it means I get more friends, too. And I don't mean on social media. It means, like, I know Julia Axe and her amazing voice. And a few others we haven't talked about, but they'll get their 15 minutes and more t-shirts for everyone on Twitch. And I'll sit in and watch and be asking them questions.
There was one... actually, it's two final questions. One is just a very creative question. Says that with a couple of friends of mine, Tiff and Enchanted Yeti, put together a lot of these questions. How many seasons of that monster show were you contracted for? And do you fear any of the rumors floating around that George Clooney may be taking your role when the show gets picked up by FX?
Come on, George. I would love to see George Clooney play all 7 or play. Look, I wasn't the first. Can we say, Carl? I wasn't the first to play all of those characters, and I didn't know I was going to play all 7 up front because you didn't even know half of the characters, who the hell they were, right? You said earlier. So, look, I'd be honored if George Clooney played any of the characters in our show if it got picked up. I think we'd all be happy if the show got picked up. The wonderful thing about this job that I get to do, thanks to Carl, and thanks to so many in this industry, it's getting me choked up, is it's not mine, folks. Rob Paulson will say he doesn't own the rights to Pinky. He doesn't own the rights to any of the Ninja Turtles. He is not responsible for creating them. Oftentimes, folks, set your ego aside, voiceover comes in last. Lance didn't need me to draw these characters. He's a brilliant animator. The guy grew up on Mad Magazine. I don't need to say anymore. You watch the show, it looks beautiful if it's on mute. As well as I've said, it's beautiful to the ear with the music and Julia's voice, Cole's voice, the baby giggling of Joni, Leanna Mamp. I mean, George takes these characters. I would be happy to see them. They're not mine. They're really Carl's, to be honest. And it would really, probably... I would be curious how you would feel, Carl. I'll throw it back to you if George Clooney were to play any of these characters, because they're like, I see them as they're still like a baby. They are still a part of me, but George would do the professor differently. Obviously, let's just say that George is not me. George Clooney would play these characters his way. And it's not to say it's right or wrong. It's much like how the job is booked with Julia. It's not to say all those before her were crap and not talented actresses or actors.
Well, I'll give you my point of view, is that I like to, when I work on my creative projects, or any projects, but mostly my creative stuff, I like to feel like I am working with friends. And so I'm very loyal in that way, in that here's an example. When we first started out this process, it wasn't a union project. It wasn't through SAG. True. And there started to be some suggestions from Julia asked, by the way, is this through SAG? And I was like, oh, no, it's not. Should it be? And she was like, well, that would be good if it is. And I was like, oh, okay. And then you wanted it. And then you were getting into SAG. Okay. And then there was a pretty highly credited voice actor that asked to be in the show. and it would have brought a lot of publicity and an interesting spin on the whole thing to be able to say, hey, this guy is in the show. But he said it would need to be SAG. And I was like, okay, well, this is enough of the SAG requests. I will have to go through this process. So I started going through it, and then there was the question of if I could still have Joni in the show. And my thought was, fuck it all if I can't have Joni, because she's my friend. We've worked on all these things. I'm not going to screw that up because we're friends and she's in my thing. We're working together. She's been here all along through the creation of it. And so that's kind of the weird punk rock friend thing that I have about working on this stuff, that I just won't. It would if like we had a little back and forth on a text recently where you said, you know, hey, if this show gets sold, we could all be out of a job. They could replace any of us. And I said, you know, fuck that, because F that. Sorry, I'm cussing everybody. But I would fight to keep
passionate.
I would fight to keep my friends doing their jobs.
You did say that.
And you were kind of like, well, good luck with that, because that's the way that it is. And I was like, no.
What does that mean? What an asshole.
And so if you talk about like replacing Dan with George Clooney, I'd be like, as long as we can get Dan a lot of money and me a lot of money to both quit the show, then and go do our own things, then that's okay. But simply just replacing someone like that is like, no, we're not just going to fire Dan and get George Clooney. It's not going to happen. Well, it's not going to happen anyway, but I would not be comfortable with that at all. It would really bother me. That's my answer.
That's a great answer, Carl.
Okay,
and I appreciate you. And I think it is very important. We got to give away some shirts.
Yes.
I was going to say,
anyway, that's why I like to get to know people before I work with them.
Yeah, to work with your friends. You want to work with your friends.
I want them to pass the Taco Bell test. Can we sit in Taco Bell and be awkward? That's what I want to know.
And what again? I think I just got to say, because for everyone, this is across all of these. Really, I joke when I say students of voiceover, like anybody, they're general life lessons. Like, you want to work with people that, when you say friends, Carl, if I may put words in your mouth, what it meant to me is, and what it means to me as an actor is, nobody wants to work with dicks. You don't want to be in a room with angry Orson Welles, and he's not the only one. There's other actors that they're just, and so many people will tell you, if you want to work in this business, and if you want a job in general, if you want to work, be nice to people, and so that means be a professional. Just be a professional. Wear Ninja Turtle shirts. Wear cool clothes, be nice to people, and do a fucking amazing job at what you do. Nobody wants to hire, you'll hear this in voiceover. Like I did tell a student, I said, come on, man, you made a demo and you're like year one Hogwarts? Bro, what are you thinking? You, with all due respect, do not know anything yet. You're not at a point to do that, okay? He's a very good kid and a very nice guy, and I believe he will make it very well as a voice actor, but know your worth, talking about selling the show, but just be a good person and know your worth, know where you're at in your field. But nobody would get a professional, root canal done by a guy who either doesn't charge you or says $50 in his van. It's important to be nice, and if you want to work in this industry, and I think I went all over that place because it's a great question. Carl?
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Dan Foster, the voice actor. We're going to give away some shirts now. I think, first of all, Chicago Superman is getting a shirt, right? I mean, that's obvious. Do you agree?
What isn't obvious is, where the hell is that shirt going? Where do you want it? Soups?
Oh, we'd have to send it to Japan.
San Diego,
right?
Is it going to Japan? I think it'd be cool. He got it when he got back to San Diego, but I mean, rock that in Japan.
Shipping to Japan is a little bit expensive, but
yeah.
So Chicago Superman, just send me your shipping address and your shirt size, and
I'll
get
drive
you
it
one.
down to San Diego.
Who else? What you want to pick one, Dan? Who else is getting a T-shirt?
Enchanted Yeti, your amazing questions.
So
If Tiff doesn't already
Enchanted
have
Yeti. Tiff, I don't know if Tiff is still here. She's.
Well, goodbye, Tiff.
But Enchanted Yeti, if you would like, Enchanted Yeti has a shirt. But if she would like another one, she's welcome to have
Long
one.
sleeves. It's gonna get cold.
Oh yeah, we've got long. How about a hoodie? Since Enchanted Yeti already has one. Do you already have a hoodie, Enchanted Yeti? Oh, Tiff is here. Tiff, have you got a Monster Show shirt yet?
She's listening. Soup says he promises he won't take you to Taco Bell. Or me. Is that me?
Well, then no deal.
I know of better tacos, so please do not take me to Taco Bell. If we're in San Diego, I would hope you know better places for tacos, because I do.
So who else have we got here? Let me see if
I
anybody's
refreshed
around.
my screen, so I don't know if I see.
I think
don't-
Rob is still. Yeah. So Enchanted Yeti, do you want a? Do you have a hoodie already?
I guess we should also be asking them to put their shirts or send a shirt size if you don't wish to disclose. Obviously, don't need to put your address in the thing.
Do you have Enchanted Yeti? Do you have the T-shirt, the long sleeve shirt, and the hoodie?
I've Enchanted
Look
Yeti
at that!
has
That
all-
just popped up. Nightbot is trying to sell our T-shirts. That's funny.
Thanks, Nightbot. You woke up and hawking them shirts and hoodies. I gotta get me one. It'll eventually be cold. It's kind of cold. I don't know in your neck of the woods.
Okay, so
but
Enchanted Yeti,
long sleeve.
message me and tell me if you want a short sleeve or a hoodie, and it's yours. Because you asked a lot of good questions. Tiff, also,
So many. I probably
you're
never
getting
even-
shirts or whatever you want. Tiff has been helping behind the scenes on various things.
Thank you, Tiff. Again,
As has
my
Enchanted
apology.
Yeti Enchanted Yeti has been giving me some training on social media, although I'm still failing at it.
I could use some help as well with the Twitches and the Discords. We're gonna have another talk, Carl, about.
We are?
offline.
Anyway, everybody,
Twitching.
we've been on for an hour and 42, and I promised my wife that I would only be on for an hour and 15. So, apologies. I'm probably going to be in trouble when I walk upstairs. But this was a lot of fun, and it's always fun to hang out with you online, Dan Foster, voice actor. People can find him on Instagram, instagram.com/I am Dan Foster.
I am Dan Foster, Instagram.
So yeah, there's his
just
Instagram
Google
link
me.
if you want to follow him.
Put him in the Google. I love to meet new friends and I may have lost my excitement, emotion, Carl. But in all seriousness, I don't need to be a character right now. This was a blast. Thank you for having me, and I hope if I need to apologize to your wonderful wife, I think you had an anniversary during COVID. Everybody, happy anniversary
Yeah, thank you.
again. for that.
Hey, quick reminder. We are still looking to get in contact with agents, managers, representation, producers, executives
Anybody wants to
at
pitch the
networks. If anyone wants to help us out with getting connected with a network that we can then sell the show to and get more money to make more episodes, because it was very expensive to make the first episode, we need funding to make many episodes and to make this a real thing. We would love for it to be on TV or a streaming service like Netflix, Hulu, Shudder. So contact me, Carl at carlkingdom.com, Carl at carlkingdom.com, and let me know if you can help. And
I just tweeted George Clooney, so we're gonna be good.
very nice. Be sure to watch that monster show on YouTube and give it a little like, and also type a little message on YouTube. Leave us a little comment about if you like the show. And that's it. That's all I got. Thank you, Dan, for being here.
I got more. We can do another episode. I'll stay here. I'm comfortable. Anybody else? Do it again, Carl.
We are going to be doing more of these Twitch streams with the voice actors. We're going to be doing a big one on the 29th where we're going to get everybody on at the same time. Is that still in your calendar, Dan? You look surprised.
I don't know what's happening at 4 o'clock, but yes, it is in my calendar, of
On
course.
the 29th, we've got a big one coming
29th
up.
of
We're going to
October.
put
At what
everyone from
time?
the show, the entire cast and crew. I think it's 7 p.m.
7 p.m. on the 29th of October.
I think so, yeah.
I think it's a Friday, too, isn't it?
Thursday.
A Thursday.
Yeah. And
The
we're going
30th.
to try to
You
get
had it-
everyone, including Leanna Vamp, and everyone in the cast and crew has agreed to be there. So
Awesome.
we'll try to do a
And
giant group chat.
I won't miss it.
All right. Well, thanks everybody. That's all I got, and thank you for the subscriptions. I think it's 7 p.m. Pacific. I'll double check, but I'll announce it also.
Somewhere in social medias.
Yeah, it'll be all over the place. I'll make a big deal about it when it's
You'll get
happening.
help. Who's helping you? They'll help you. Who's here? Help Carl. He'll blast it.
Yeah. Well, thank you everyone. Any final words, Dan? I just don't want to cut you off.
Final words, Dan. Thank you to those that were here and that watch that monster show. Thank you. That's all I got.
All right, thanks everybody.
Follow me so we
Good
can be
night.
friends.
Have a nice weekend.